vehicles, including pads, rotors, labor, and a lifetime warranty as long as you own the rig.
That brake deal is flat out the best deal around.
You know, it really is, and we have great prices for oil changes as well. Get a mobile synthetic blend 5-quart oil change for most vehicles for only $34.99 plus tax.
You do a lot of things at some great prices to keep anyone's rig running right.
You know, we do. Rebates for brand name tire deals, plus detailing specials too. Whatever your repairs may be, we'll do them right and at a fair price.
Anytime Auto Sales Service and Detail, folks. The place to trust. Your complete AAA and ASE certified automotive repair specialists. See anytime.com. And of course on the corner of Highway 79 and East Minnesota, Rapid City.
Anytime Auto Sales.
Black Hills Builders and Homeowners. Do you have a custom home build or renovation project on the horizon? Builders First Source is here for you. We provide top quality building materials, expert guidance, and innovative solutions to help keep your next project on budget and ahead of schedule. To get started, visit BLDR.com or stop by one of our nearby locations in Rapid City, Spearfish, and Hot Springs. Builders First Source. Let's build something amazing.
Great news. I just got the State Farm personal price plan on our home and auto insurance.
You told our agent about my thing for romance novels?
No, you don't have to get that personal. Our agent just helped me choose affordable options to create a personalized price just for us.
Oh, sweet. Then you won't believe the love triangle Jen is in now.
Contact me, State Farm agent Scott Carlson, to create your personal price plan today.
Prices vary by state. Options selected by customer. Availability and eligibility may vary.
KIMM Rapid City and K294BT Rapid City, the Black Hills Sports Station, 106.7 FM and 1150 AM, Fox Sports Rapid City.
According to ESPN, Bengals wide receiver T. Higgins and three-time Pro Bowl defensive end Trey Hendrickson have requested a trade from Cincinnati. The Cowboys have picked up the fifth-year option for Micah Parsons. The Bengals will exercise the fifth-year option for wide receiver Jamar Chase, but the Steelers will not be picking up the fifth-year option for quarterback Justin Fields. Reggie Bush will be getting his Heisman Trophy back, with the Heisman Trust citing enormous changes in the college football landscape in making the decision. The NBA playoffs continue with two Game 2s. First, it's the Celtics hosting the Heat. Tip-off is set for 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Boston leads the series 1-0. Then the Thunder will be hosting the Pelicans at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time. OKC leads that series 1-0. In Major League Baseball, the Orioles are blanking the Angels in L.A. It's 6-0, top of the sixth inning. The Mets are beating the Giants in San Francisco 6-1, bottom of the seventh. I'm Monty Bolaños.
It's time for South Dakota's Sports Talk Show. This is the Nate Brown Show, featuring live callers, live interviews, and thought-provoking sports talk. From the biggest national names to the hottest local stories. Welcome to the Nate Brown Show on Fox Sports Rapid City. Here's your host, Nate Brown.
And welcome in on a Wednesday. We're back ready to go. The Nate Brown Show live on Fox Sports Rapid City. It's always a great day in the Black Hills. Say it with me. Middle of the week. Here we go. 1 day away. NFL draft, you bet. Good stuff tonight across the board. South Dakota Sports Talk Show ready to go. 106.7 FM, 1150 AM. Stream us all the time. FoxSportsRapidCity.com. A lot of ways you can watch the show now. You can find us on X, Twitter, at Nate Brown Show. Follow the show and watch us live in studio at Nate Brown Show, and then on YouTube as well. Our YouTube channel, subscriber numbers going up. I'm starting to get in that cool zone with some of the middle school, high school kids. Starting, not quite. So subscribe to the YouTube channel, The Nate Brown Show. You've got every show live on your phone, smart TV, however you want to watch, and also there, the archive shows. So subscribe, The Nate Brown Show. You'll find us on YouTube. So Wednesday edition, we're back and ready. We're brought to you in part by Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center. Better access, more options at Black Hills Ortho. From the weekend warrior to the elite athlete, that's the team helping you stay in the game. Don't let an injury slow you down. See the experts at Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center. BHOSC.com. Start there and learn more. BHOSC.com. That's Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center, specializing in what moves you. Off and running on a Wednesday. Let's look at the guest lineup. Let's knock this puppy out tonight. We will go with Frank Schwab tonight, NFL writer, talking draft, yahoosports.com. The latest from Frank Schwab and what he's thinking as we get set for tomorrow night. So Frank's in from Yahoo Sports. Cody Tucker's on tonight from Laramie, Wyoming, covers the Cowboys for 7220 Sports. I want to have the big discussion with Cody on what would happen if the group of 5 teams broke off essentially and had their own thing. That's what's been discussed at the college football playoff meetings the last 2 days. That's been going on, and they're discussing what would we have a group of 5 playoff only. Let's get Cody Tucker on from Wyoming tonight, 7220sports.com. He's on tap. Well, this is going to go with Brian Noe, one of our favorites. You know that. It's a Brian Noe Wednesday, Fox Sports Radio national host. And Matt Zimmer's going to come on from Sioux Falls. He's covering the Jacks and more. A change out at Augustana in basketball. We'll get to that. Also, the Jackrabbits getting set to be drafted. Who's going to go off the board first? Looks like the O-lineman Mason McCormick. Looks like Mason McCormick, the O-lineman for the Jacks, going to get some looks here. Look out for Isaiah Davis, the running back for the Jacks. So how many players are going to go? The South Dakota State's had a nice track record here. Matt Zimmer's coming up from SiouxFallsLive.com. And finally, out to Los Angeles tonight. He's with AM 570 Los Angeles. Kevin Figures joining us on a Wednesday to talk Caleb Williams and more. Packed show, good stuff. Local, regional, national. Let's get you on. 720-1067 is our number. The studio line open and ready if you want to be a part of the conversation. You don't want to be bored, right? Join the show. 720-1067 is our number. I invite you on. And the Barron's Wilson text line. 720-1067. Direct text the show on the Barron's Wilson listener text line. Same number. If you can't call, text us at 720-1067. Hey, how could I forget on a Wednesday? 5 questions from Chris. Yes, we got to get 5 questions from Chris in the books on a Wednesday. So a busy show. Let's get it going. Okay, I've been waiting now to do this. I haven't talked about it over and over and over. You know, we try and hit on different stuff here so it's not the same repeated stories and headlines throughout the day and all of that stuff. I know you're supposed to talk about what sells, but we try and mix it up. From high school to college to the pros. That's what we do. So I haven't touched on this at all. Zero. I've asked people about it a little bit, but I haven't done a segment. We haven't done a question of the day. But it's time to look at it. It's time to do that one hitter leading up to the NFL draft tomorrow. And no, it's not my mock draft. I'm not. The Nate Brown Show mock draft is going to be unveiled today. That's not it. So I'm not going to do the mock draft. I'm not going to get into that scenario. The issue I want to talk about is you see it every year. You think this is going to be the guy. You think this is going to be a transformational talent. It's going to take an organization from nothing to something. Nobody knew about Patrick Mahomes years ago. Nobody. I mean, the Chiefs took him. He was the second quarterback taken. Okay, so nobody thought what was coming with Patrick Mahomes. And the list goes on. You go back to it. Baker Mayfield was a surprise number 1 pick by the Browns. Has he been awesome? He's been good, you know, but then he barely kept his career alive and went to the Rams and got revived by the Buccaneers and the whole thing. So these picks and what's going to go down tomorrow night, I said I want to get out in front of this and say there's the biggest story in the draft that nobody's really discussing and nobody's really asking. They think this is a slam dunk. They think tomorrow night it's a slam dunk, and I'm going to ask you what you think, because most of the experts, I know, I look at the same stuff you guys do. Peter Schrager, Mel Kiper, Todd McShay, I mean, the list goes on. So I'm looking at all this stuff the past month, and everybody says this is the guy, but nobody's asking what is his career going to look like? Can you project how good this guy's going to be? So let me just get into the Caleb Williams scenario. Now, I'm going to have Kevin Figures on from AM 570 Los Angeles next, and I'll get his read on Caleb Williams, the USC days, the whole thing. I want to get your read on it. There's a couple of different groups of people. Some are going to say, this guy's a bust no matter what. You guys are going to say this because I think some people just want guys to be busts. I don't know why that is. oh, he's hyped. He does that. He thinks he's awesome. He transferred to USC, and he's the special player, and we just want him to be a bust. So there's a group of folks that say, I want Caleb Williams to be a bust because he's going to be an overpaid prima donna, and the list goes on. Then there's the other side that says, this guy's unbelievable. The talent. You haven't seen a guy like this since Andrew Luck. This is the transformational quarterback. Hey, by the way, this is the next Patrick Mahomes. And I mean, it just gets ramped up and cranked up. So it's two things there. Bust or star. Bust or star. You join the camp today. That's my question of the day. I want to get it out, and then I'll get into the Caleb Williams side from my perspective. I'm not breaking down his film. I'm not doing that. I watched USC play quite a bit. They were on quite a bit. We saw Caleb Williams at Oklahoma and then at USC. So I'll get into my read on him, and then I'll tell you what an NFL player told me yesterday. Okay, an NFL guy who said this is most important when you're looking at players. It's not the footwork. It's not this, okay, throwing on time. That's not the most important thing. I'll get into that. But let me ask my question of the day. Your read on it for tomorrow night. Number one pick is going to be Caleb Williams from the Chicago Bears. And if I have some Bears fans with me, I know I do. I got Brandon out there. Hey, Brandon, you're a Bears fan. You're a local Bears fan. I know you. How excited are you about Caleb Williams? Number one pick. Is he going to be Baker Mayfield? Is he going to be, even worse, Jamarcus Russell? Or is he going to be the next Patrick Mahomes? Is he going to be the next Patrick Mahomes? Caleb Williams, your guess. It matters where he goes, what type of players he has around him, what's the organization like. So you add that up. How do the Bears situation fit Caleb Williams? Will he fit in Chicago? Blue-collar town, tough. I mean, they're really, really passionate. Really passionate. They've been yearning for a quarterback for a long time. The best quarterback they've had has been Rex Grossman. Hang on, that was a low blow. I mean, that's the story, though. I'm serious. Have I missed anybody in that time frame? They've tried it with everybody. And now they get their number one pick. They had Justin Fields. They say no. And now they get the guy, Caleb Williams, who some people say is the next star. There's people that have evaluated this over the time. You've seen it. We thought Josh Rosen was going to be okay. We thought Sam Darnold coming out of USC was really, really good. You listen to Colin Cowherd. He thought Sam Darnold was going to be, unbelievable. And everybody put down Josh Allen, and we just poo-pooed Josh Allen. Oh, man, his accuracy, and he played at Wyoming. Did he play anybody? And so this whole thing comes to fruition. There's not an exact science here, and people, I will not believe them in saying, oh, yeah, I know for sure he's going to be a bust. I know for sure he's going to be a star. So I just want your vote today. Which way you're leaning? What's the pulse of Fox Sports Rapid City on this Wednesday? Caleb Williams, number one pick tomorrow night. We're going to be ready. Bears are going to take him. Is he a bust or a star? Caleb Williams. Vote in our question of the day. You let me know. 720-1067. You can vote on the Barron's Wilson text line. You can be a part of the conversation on the studio line as well. 720-1067. Is Caleb Williams a bust or a star? What's your guess? That's what it is. I know, our educated guess. What's your guess? Bust or star from Caleb Williams? He's the next in line. Let's go to the poll on Twitter. Right now, people voting early. 54% say bust. I somehow knew Twitter would say that. Twitter, the negative hellscape. So 54% say bust. It's kind of even. What do you say? Thanks for calling. You're live, and you go ahead.
Oh, right. Okay, so Ken Giger, graduate from the University of Utah. Watched him play USC against Utah 3 times. Utah beat him all 3 times. I watched Zach Wilson play against the University of Utah from BYU. Lost to Utah all 3 times.
Oh.
What do you think I think? I think he's going to be a bust.
Okay. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. Thanks for the call. Utah Utes alum. Hey, you don't get that every day. You don't get that every day. I like that. I watched some Utah football back in the day. Did you know that? I watched Utah-Wyoming. Back in the day. So he says USC, Caleb Williams, he couldn't beat Utah. That's his example. Couldn't beat Utah. He's not going to be the guy. Zach Wilson couldn't beat Utah. He's not going to be the guy. That's interesting. So Zach Wilson was the number 2 pick. It's not like he was way down the list. Number 2 pick 3 years ago. And he's a bust. And he's my Broncos quarterback. Be careful. Be careful. Listener text coming in. Let's see what the vote is going down. 720-1067. Caleb Williams is going to be a bust. Bo Nix is going to be a star. Are you serious on that? Are you? Don't get me started. That's my second part of this opening part of the show today is about Bo Nix. Okay? A little bit. Okay? Second part. Don't fast forward the show yet. And I don't think you're serious anyway. Caleb Williams is going to be a bust. Bo Nix is going to be a star. Listener text. Williams seems to have a prickly personality off the field. And what does that tell you? Listener text. The Bears organization, I hope they don't destroy another promising quarterback. That organization seems to be a black hole in that department. So you're going to blame the Bears again? You're going to blame the Bears? Okay, first pick tomorrow night. It's Caleb Williams. Your votes right now, 54% say bust, 46% say star. And one of the listeners said a prickly personality. A prickly personality. So here's what an NFL player told me last night. This is Mike Wall, former Green Bay Packer, played with Brett Favre on those great teams. Okay, so it's not just a guy that had a cup of coffee in the league. He was in the league a long time, played on some great teams. Was around Brett Favre. You can argue about Favre, but pretty well liked, pretty good leader, had success, right? Okay, Mike Wall last night, former Green Bay Packer, told me, number one when you evaluate guys, their character, their traits, their behaviors. Okay? Character, behaviors, traits. And he wasn't making it up. He's saying, you've got to have it. There's guys that are really, really good tomorrow night. Their quarterbacks, Jaden Daniels to whoever, probably not that big of a gap in talent. Character, traits, okay, behaviors. I find that interesting. I'll get into the Caleb Williams side from my perspective next. Thanks for calling. You're live and you go ahead.
Hey, Nate, Jim, thanks for taking my call.
Jim, what do you say? Caleb Williams.
He's going to be a hell of a quarterback.
Really?
I think the Bears are sending him up. Well, they got a nice offensive line. They added some pieces there. They got Cole Kmet. They got DJ Moore. And then they're adding some running backs, too. They don't get any more in the draft.
Let's turn the Bears around? That's what you think?
I think they'll win 7 or 8 games. I don't think they'll get to the playoffs first year, but
he will be a star.
Yeah, he'll be a star. I think he'll have about 25 touchdowns and maybe 10 or 12 interceptions, which ain't too bad for a first-year quarterback.
Let's put him on record. Jim, 25 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. You're on record.
Sounds good. I'll take it.
All right, man. Thanks. I appreciate that. Remember that. Day before the draft, Jim, loyal listener Jim. He's been with us since we started the show. I like you, Jim. 25 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. Book it. That's like Russell Wilson numbers. Sorry. I'm sorry. Let's see. Okay, let me tell you about Caleb Williams, and then I'll get to my Broncos, because I haven't discussed the Broncos at all either. My Denver Broncos. On the Caleb Williams thing, really, really can sling it. Really athletic. Kind of creates plays, that whole thing. Was in the Lincoln Riley offense, which has been really good with everybody. So just, I look at that and I pull back and I say, the Lincoln Riley offense has been a shootout, and every quarterback has been good in that. Everybody. Baker Mayfield, Jalen Hurts went there. Okay? Caleb Williams now. From Oklahoma to USC, it was the same thing. So I know coaching matters. I think that's a big thing there to me. So Caleb Williams, a star with Lincoln Riley. The NFL is a different beast. We know it. I mean, we know this. So Caleb Williams, I think, is really good. I'm going to look at the off-the-field stuff. I don't know what I think about Caleb. People say, well, he does the weird stuff. He cries with his mom and he has painted fingernails. I don't I don't know what that means. What I will tell you, he seems very confident. Can I say that statement? I think maybe a little to the edge. I'm going to push him over the edge on that one. Okay? So there's arrogance there to me. You have to have an ego, an edge. I think there's arrogance. I think he wades into that. I really do. I've just watched some answers. That whole thing. I've watched his personality in some of these press conferences. The arrogance to me is just too much. I would like to see humility a little bit right now. He hasn't done anything yet. So that character trait to me is concerning. That is concerning to me. I don't know how that plays out in the NFL. Thanks for calling. You're live and you go ahead.
Well, I think he could start his own flag football league.
What do you mean?
Maybe take that AB with him.
What do you mean? What are you going to say about Caleb?
I'm just not sold on him either.
Oh, you're not. You're not.
No, come on. You're playing college kids. You're throwing to wide receivers who are 6'5". They're fast. They're the best of the best.
Great offense with Lincoln Riley.
Yeah,
right?
In the NFL, Nate, come on. Patrick Mahomes had to sit on a bench.
Oh, interesting point. Interesting point.
I'm just saying, these kids, they want to go right away. Look at, even though he's from Ohio State, what's his name? They just traded him.
C.J. Stroud or what?
No, the other one.
Fields, yes.
Now, if he had a coach that centered around and, took 5 years, he probably would have been good. But nobody gets that no more.
No, you're right on that. So you don't believe he's going to be a star?
No.
You don't?
No.
You don't?
No. Too pretty. I called my mama every night for decades when I was out of the military because I didn't get to see her a lot. Nate, I didn't even cry at her funeral. I was sad. People probably going, oh, you're an ass. Not really.
Okay.
But, I mean, you don't cry to your mom on national TV. It's the football.
Okay, there we go.
Go in the locker room. Paint your nails whatever color. And,
all right. I was waiting for that.
He's going to get married, and then Lawrence Taylor's going to steal his wife.
Hang on. There we go. All right. Thanks, buddy.
Just go back to being a man. Honestly, I think Bo Nix.
Oh,
I think Bo Nix and J.J. McCarthy and that kid from LSU. I'll say his name wrong.
All right, Jaden Daniels.
I like
all right.
them three.
All right. Thanks, buddy. I appreciate it.
All right. Hey, Baker Mayfield never cried on his mama's lap either.
That's true. That's true.
Okay.
I appreciate it. Thanks for getting in. All right. I was waiting for that. And so I'm not going to hammer him. But the arrogance is there, and it's a little more than confidence, okay? It's a little more than confidence, and that's where I'm going. It's pretty loud around him. I don't like loud. Confidence, humility with it, leadership, and there is some traits, though, that I look at. Competitiveness, I think it's there. Really competitive, wants to win, but so that matters, and I don't think money's going to, really take away that competitiveness, so I think he's got an edge. But the arrogance to me is dicey. It's dicey. So if I'm going to say bust or star, let me just point this out. I think Caleb Williams will be with the Bears for quite some time. Okay? I think Caleb Williams, is he as good as C.J. Stroud? I think so. Okay? And maybe I'll regret that. But I don't see a bust. I don't see a fade off. I don't see Zach Wilson here. I saw Zach Wilson at BYU too, and I'm going, really? And number 2 pick for the Jets? What are we doing? And so I don't see Zach Wilson. I don't see Patrick Mahomes, but I see a good player. And it's going to be a little loud. It's going to be some arrogance. I don't see an absolute star, but I think he could be a player. And if C.J. Stroud is considered top 10, can Caleb Williams get there? I think he's going to be with the Bears a long time. I do. Okay. Let me ask Kevin Figures about this. I'll do that. He's with AM 570 Los Angeles, covered USC and Caleb Williams. We'll talk to K-Fig up next. But let me just point out what the Broncos need to do tomorrow. Okay? 2 minutes. 2 minutes on this. 2 minutes on the clock. The Nate Brown Show is on the clock. The Broncos are on the clock tomorrow. The Broncos need to get a quarterback tomorrow. There's none of this, we'll just go with Jarrett Stidham and Zach Wilson and be so bad that we're going to get the number 1 pick next year. The Broncos need to get a quarterback quickly. This isn't a Sean Payton, stick around forever, rebuild here. This is, we better get somebody in, develop them. We're not going to be good this year, but we better get the right guy to get good in the next 2 years. So the Broncos tomorrow, I'm pleading, you better get a quarterback that you believe in. And so what I'm telling you is, it better be one of the top tier guys. And you know who I put in there? Michael Penix. I wouldn't mind it. I wouldn't mind it at all. So if the Broncos go with Michael Penix, he's a on-time thrower. He's a structured thrower. That's what Sean Payton wants. He's a throw over-the-middle guy. Okay, he doesn't want to improvise. Sean Payton doesn't want to improvise. Just do the play, and Sean's the smart guy. You just deliver the ball. That's Penix. So I'll take Penix. I'll take J.J. McCarthy, I guess, because he's an absolute winner. I believe in winners. He's a winner. You could say, well, he didn't do this throw, and he's a winner. Composed. Jim Harbaugh loved him. I'm going to take McCarthy. You're not hearing me say Williams because he's going to be gone. Drake May's going to be gone. Jaden Daniels going to be gone. The 2 guys I want to get, Penix or J.J. McCarthy. That's it. No Bo Nix. And if you do it, boy, this is going to be a sad state of affairs. A sad state of affairs. Bo Nix, not the guy. Matt Kearney wants him to be on his team, but he's not the guy. So there's my choices. Penix tomorrow, J.J. McCarthy tomorrow. And the choice is the Broncos better get the QB. It's been a long time coming. They gave up on Russ, so now you're up, Sean. Kevin Figures up next.
This is South Dakota's Sports Talk Show, The Nate Brown Show, on FoxSportsRapidCity.com and live on 106.7 FM and 1150 AM. Fox Sports Rapid City.
Hey everyone, this is Tim Lucas with the Rapid City Marshals. I'm your jack linebacker and wide receiver. Come out to an AFL Arena football game. We're inviting all you guys to a Marshals game this Saturday.
It's Marshals' home season opener versus Council Bluff, Iowa this Saturday. Game time is at 6:30 p.m. at the Monument.
Black Hills Harley-Davidson Spring Sale Down is on now. Hi, this is Kelly Rang. Purchase any qualifying pre-owned Harley-Davidson motorcycle and receive up to $1,000 Black Hills Harley-Davidson gift card that can be used in any of our fantastic departments. Use it on chrome, engine upgrades, leather. You get it. Up to $1,000 to spend anywhere in the entire store. We have the best selection in 5 states, so now might just be the time to purchase your next Harley-Davidson motorcycle. Black Hills Harley-Davidson, I-90 exit 55, or check us out online at blackhillshd.com.
Only one will reign king, and you get to decide. Taste the best wings in the Black Hills at the 4th Annual King of Wings competition. Join us at the Box Elder Event Center on April 28th as your favorite restaurants from around the area battle it out for the title of king. Sample a variety of mouth-watering flavors from classic to creative and cast your vote on the most delicious wings. Get your tickets for the King of Wings before they sell out at thebox.live.
I am here with Weston and Tanisha Chapman from Black Hills Tire.
We're the neighborhood shop for the whole town because we will pick up and deliver anywhere in town. We will do whatever we can to help anybody.
It's important to us that somebody can say like, hey, my mom needs something. They need this and I know you'll take care of them. I think that means more to us than anything is when somebody will say like, I need somebody in my family taken care of and I know you guys will take care of them. And that's just because that's community to us.
We all help each other out. We can create this community together.
Check us out at blackhillstire.com.
Hi, this is David Brenneman with Coldwell Banker Black Hills Legacy in Rapid City. Have you thought about buying a home or real estate in the Black Hills? Maybe you want to upgrade to your forever home? I have been helping people in the Black Hills find the right home for nearly 20 years. When it comes to buying or selling, experience matters. Let me do the work and you can open the door to your new home. Say hello to a good buy with me, David Brenneman. To get started, just Google David Brenneman, Coldwell Banker.
Hey, this is Rob Parker from The Odd Couple. Don't miss our show weeknights from 6 to 8 p.m. right here on Fox Sports Rapid City. And now we'll send you back to Rapid City Sports Talk Show, The Nate Brown Show.
Welcome back in the Nate Brown Show, live South Dakota Sports Talk Show. One day out from the NFL draft, I made my feelings open and presented here on the program. Better late than never. We don't want to talk draft every single day, every single segment. Listener text coming in. Nate, your show's never boring. Really? Is that right? Thank you. I appreciate that. We put some work into this thing. 2 hours, thought-provoking sports talk. Great guests across the board. So let's go with Kevin Figures from AM 570 LA. Fox Sports Radio. You hear K-Fig right here. And he's on Twitter X at KFig1. And he's on the Nate Brown Show as Caleb Williams gets set to be the #1 pick tomorrow night. It's all coming to fruition. Kevin, good to have you back. How are you?
I'm great, Nate. Always good to be with you.
I appreciate your time, man. So I asked my audience today, Caleb Williams, let's go down this road. Only two options. I know it's tough. Star or bust. And over 50% of the audience, 54 now, says bust. Maybe that's the negativity of Twitter. I don't know. But what would you think the pulse is on Caleb Williams as a star or a bust at #1?
Well, look, if you're just going off of history, it's more likely that he'd be a bust than he'd be a star, to be honest, especially if you're talking to a bunch of Chicago Bears fans who are still looking for a great quarterback since the days of Sid Luckman. That's a long time ago. That's before you and I put together as far as our ages go there, Nate. So I understand the skepticism. You know, you're optimistic. The guy had a phenomenal career in college at Oklahoma and then obviously took off to another level at USC. But if you're a Bears fan and just in general watching the NFL, look at Trevor Lawrence. He was a generational quarterback, coming out of Clemson. And he's been probably average to slightly above average at best through his young NFL tenure at this point. It's really difficult to project superstardom at the NFL level. So I think it's more likely than not that he'll end up being a bust. Doesn't mean that he will be, but he certainly has the odds working against him.
Very interesting, Kevin. So you followed USC and the whole thing, and I pointed this out with him. I said, I don't know. We all don't know. But my statement was, I'm not going to call him a bust. This isn't going to be Zach Wilson. Zach Wilson selected #2. I thought at that time, I was like, what are the Jets doing here? I didn't see it. So he's not Zach Wilson, but he's not Patrick Mahomes. People say, this is the next Patrick Mahomes. I don't think he's that. But is he C.J. Stroud good? And to me, that's good.
That's excellent. I mean, C.J. Stroud broke rookie records last year. If you can get that sort of production out of Caleb Williams, you'll absolutely take that. It's just so hard to gauge. Success at the quarterback position is also just so circumstantial. Because, look, going into last season, you looked at C.J. Stroud being taken by the Texans. One, people questioned whether or not he was going to be that good. And whether Bryce Young was taken first overall ahead of him. Washington's roster and said, there's not a whole lot to work with here. But all of a sudden, they light the world on fire and end up making the postseason. Well, you look at this year with Caleb Williams, maybe they used the number 9 pick and they end up taking a Roma Dunze or a Neighbors if he falls that far down. They've already traded for Keenan Allen. They already have DJ Moore. They're going to have all the weapons in the world. Does that mean Caleb Williams is going to light the world on fire? No. But it certainly would put that, stacking in his favor. You just have no idea. It's a giant crapshoot when you figure this thing out. I think that's part of the fun of this entire prognostication process of the NFL draft.
Kevin Figures on tonight from AM 570 Los Angeles, Fox Sports Radio as well here on the Nate Brown Show. So I talked about Caleb Williams. He gets this this reputation. Oh, he cried with his mom, and people don't like that. He painted his fingernails. He's goofy, and I'm not going to touch on that. I really am not. I'm like, I don't know. The thing I'm looking at, you got to be confident. You got to have an ego. I think I've watched him a little bit in interviews, and it gets into some arrogance to me. I'm a little concerned about a little wading into the arrogance category. What do you say?
Yeah, there's always a fine line between arrogance and confidence, and where do you start tiptoeing over one line versus the other. One thing I go off of when it comes to these sorts of things is what do coaches and teammates say about them. And it's rare that guys are going to come out and denigrate a teammate like that. That's not going to happen. But they speak so glowingly about his leadership, the ability to rally a locker room, even in the midst of tough times, which, as great of a player as he was, it's not like he was winning national championships at USC. Last year was dreadful from a team standpoint. And he continued to be a leader and continued to keep his head up and continued to encourage teammates. So, look, maybe he's a little bit arrogant. There's a part of me that believes to be successful, especially in that world, you got to have a little bit of overconfidence and a little bit of arrogance. But if your teammates end up saying all the right things about you, you're being considered as a leader. I think those are the most important things.
Last one on Caleb Williams, going number 1 tomorrow night. We're ready for it. The Bears are going to take him. So he played with Lincoln Riley. Everybody's been good under Lincoln Riley. I mean, Baker Mayfield. I mean, he got a number 1 pick out of the thing. Jalen Hurts went there to Oklahoma, transferred, was really, really good. So everybody's been good under Lincoln Riley. What does that say?
That says that Lincoln Riley has a phenomenal offense and knows exactly how to cater it towards the skills of the players that he recruits. And this is not to take anything away from Baker Mayfield or Kyler Murray or any of those guys. It's an impressive setup for Lincoln. And look, Jalen Hurts, I think, is a great example because he was a guy that got benched to the national championship game for Alabama because he couldn't throw. And he goes to play for Lincoln Riley and turns that entire narrative around because of the second-round pick. And, took the Eagles to the Super Bowl a couple of years ago. So it says that Lincoln Riley is the college quarterback whisperer. Whether or not that turns itself into an NFL job like Cliff Kingsbury ended up getting, we'll have to end up seeing. But Lincoln Riley, above all else, knows how to develop quarterbacks. That's one thing that it does prove.
Yeah, does it translate to the NFL? It's kind of a mixed bag. Jalen Hurts, pretty good. Went to the Super Bowl and then maybe took a step back last year. Kyler Murray's been pretty good. You look at it, Baker Mayfield, really up and down. All right, Caleb Williams next in line tomorrow. Kevin Figures on, a couple more, I'll let him run. So I got to go to a Lakers deal with you. Lakers are down 2-0. Does it feel like a big hole here? They got beat on a buzzer beater the other night.
Yeah, and Nate, that's why it feels like a giant. And just hope that you come back and be able to hold serve at home this year, unlike last year. It was the way that they lost. The fact that you were dominating for basically 2.5, 3 quarters, you had a 20-point lead late in the third, and just let it very slowly trickle away and then get away from you at the very end. That's a pretty demoralizing loss. And what it told me, Nate, is that Denver is just better. The Lakers can play their A game. Denver can play their C- game, and Denver's going to find a way to be in it in the end. And if they're going to be in a close game, we know how this script goes. It's gone the same way for the last 10 times these two teams have played. Denver out-executes the Lakers when it matters the most, and it happened again. Denver is more talented, they're more physical, and they execute better. That's just plain and simple. So the Lakers playing their best. And by the way, Denver, I don't think Denver's played their best game in this series. They didn't play exceedingly well in the first game, and they played their C- game in Game 2 and still found a way to come away with victory. all that told me, it confirmed to me what I kind of felt all season long. Denver is just a better team than the Lakers overall.
Okay, so if the Nuggets bounce the Lakers again, what does this mean for the Lakers here? This road's getting short for LeBron.
Well, I mean, it's back to the drawing board. There's only so many moves that you can make. I know the sexy rumor that's been floated out there the last month or so is make a trade for Trae Young. Well, look, I like Trae Young. He's a good player, if not slightly overpaid, but he's not going to put you over the top. You know, if you're going to zap your depth, look, you did this with Russell Westbrook a few years ago. Now, granted, Trae Young is a better fit than Russell Westbrook because he can't shoot and he's younger. He's in his prime. I get all that. But you're still talking about committing, 60% of your salary cap to LeBron and AD and Trae Young. And three guys, by the way, who are injury prone. Trae Young, for all of his youth, has missed a decent amount of games the last couple of years, too. So I don't know if that's the route to go. But also, can you just run it back with the same crew and say that, well, hopefully Jarrett Vanderbilt and Gary Vincent stay healthy all season long? I don't know if those are the guys you want to hitch your wagon to in determining whether or not you're a championship contender. So it's a very unenviable position to be Rob Pelinka this offseason because I don't know if there's an easy fix to it.
Yeah, it's really interesting. The Lakers, if they get bounced by the Nuggets, they're down 2-0. Kevin Figures on tonight from AM 570 LA, Fox Sports Radio. Last one, Eric Musselman. He coached here in Rapid City, South Dakota for years. The Rapid City Thrillers. Yes, the Rapid City Thrillers. Now Eric Musselman all the way to USC. What do people say about Coach Musselman so far at USC? Is this going to be a real program?
They say that he needs to bring just a little bit more passion. He's way too passive, Eric Musselman. He's amazing. And we had the pleasure, he was a colleague of ours at Fox Sports Radio for a little bit before he went back into the college basketball game. Obviously had a lot of success at Arkansas, got to a few Elite Eights. People are excited. People are excited. Things kind of got a little bit stale the last couple of years. Despite having a lot of good recruiting classes, they just weren't able to get over the hump. They made it to one Elite Eight over this last tenure. So people are really excited about the potential direction of the program under Eric Musselman. They have a new athletic director, so this is her hire. She's putting her stamp on him. I think it's pretty exciting. There's a lot of enthusiasm around USC basketball again, and now going into the Big Ten is kind of uncharted territory. So they've cleaned up in the transfer portal the last couple of weeks, brought in a lot of different players. So it's going to be a bit of a different look, but there's a lot of optimism around the basketball program is what I can say for USC.
Bronny James was at USC, went in the transfer portal / NBA draft. What do you think's going to happen with Bronny?
I think he ends up back in college, to be honest with you. There's no – if the leverage point is LeBron James wants to play with his son, and people are saying, well, maybe if a team drafts him in the first round, LeBron's going to opt out of his contract and sign with that team. It's not that simple. Like, there's only a couple of teams that are even going to have enough money next year in free agency to sign LeBron James. I think the Sixers are one, and obviously the Lakers can sign him to whatever contract they want under the rules of the salary cap. So for Bronny, I think what's best for him is if he goes back to college for another year or maybe two, because a lot of the prognosticators who are much smarter than I am on this, they say he can be a productive NBA player. He's not going to be a star like his dad, but he can be your quintessential 3-and-D wing sort of player, but he needs to continue to develop, and the best way for him to do that is to go back to college for another year or two and not be drafted in the NBA, where he's probably going to end up playing in the G League for a couple of years. So I think it will behoove him to stay, and I think it's most likely that he's going to end up staying. And ultimately, him making himself available for the draft is just so we can kind of see and get an evaluation from NBA people to see what he needs to work on and how high his ceiling actually is over these next couple of years. That's at least my feeling. I haven't talked to anybody about this, Nate. This is just my personal feeling on it.
Headline hotbed in L.A., man. USC, Caleb Williams, USC Hoops with Eric Musselman, and the Lakers fighting for their lives. Kevin Figures, Fox Sports Radio, AM 570 Los Angeles. Kevin, always great. Thanks for hopping on.
Anytime, Nate. Thank you, man. Take care.
Appreciate your time, Kevin. Kevin Figures tonight, AM 570 L.A., Fox Sports Radio, national host as well. Kevin Figures from Los Angeles tonight. All right. He says Caleb Williams, the percentages are more likely to be a bust. Well, yeah, that's the percentages. That's my question of the day. If you haven't voted, 720-1067 to the Barron's Wilson text line. Let me know there if you can. Caleb Williams tomorrow night, number one pick, the Bears are going to take him. Is he going to be a star or a bust? I'm going against the grain there. I'm more prone to think he's going to be a player. I think he's going to be a player. Some of these guys, not so sure. Like, I'm not so sure about Jaden Daniels. Hate to tell you. Not so sure. Not so sure about Drake May. Not so sure. Okay? I think Caleb Williams is going to be a player, but what do you say? Star or bust for Caleb Williams in the NFL? Here's the vote update. 56% of you say bust on Twitter. 44% Caleb Williams will be a star. 720-1067 Barron's Wilson text line question of the day. Frank Schwab is in. NFL, yahoosports.com. His read on the whole night tomorrow next.
From high school to college to the pros, this is the Nate Brown Show on 106.7 FM and 1150 AM Fox Sports Rapid City.
The wait is over. Ensemble entry doors exclusively from Renewal by Andersen have arrived with an incredible offer. Secure, timeless style, elegant features, customized countless ways with the legendary quality of Renewal by Andersen. Right now, you get 20% off every Ensemble entry door. No money down, no interest, and no payments for 12 months. No payments for a year. Please scan the QR code on your screen or visit RBARapidCity.com now to book your free estimate. Ensemble entry doors. The wait is over.
We are number one. So you can always be their number one. Black Hills Surgical Hospital and Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center. The number one hospital in the nation for major orthopedic surgery.
Thinking about starting or expanding a business? At Black Hills Federal Credit Union, our dedicated business lending team focuses on understanding our members' unique needs and truly wants to help them succeed. From the loans to get your business off the ground to the accounts to keep it running, we offer unique products with your business's best interest in mind. Learn more at bhfcu.com or text or call 605-718-1818. BHFCU is a member-owned, not-for-profit.
All right, we're talking with Britt Wicked at Elevate Performance Physical Therapy for an Elevate Performance Health Minute. Right now, it's baseball and track season, and one thing I know with baseball, I hear about this overuse shoulder injury.
It's something that we see a lot clinically. Repetitive motions place ourselves at an increased risk for sustaining an injury, especially if it's a movement that hasn't necessarily been done a lot previously.
And one thing, some people say, well, you just have to rest, but not all the time.
Yeah, so it's good to take a break in a sense, but that doesn't necessarily mean do nothing at all. If you're experiencing symptoms like that and having soreness with throwing in particular, that's a good time to be seen by a physical therapist to try to assess the root cause of your symptoms. You could have weakness in the rotator cuff, we could have some shoulder instability. There's a lot going on with throwing, so it's important to have that thoroughly assessed to get you back on the road to recovery.
Get started at elevateperformancesd.com.
Hi, this is Dan Patrick. Remember to catch me weekday mornings from 7 until 10 a.m. right here on 106.7 FM and 1150 a.m. Fox Sports Rapid City. And now, back to Rapid City's sports talk show, The Nate Brown Show.
Welcome back in. South Dakota Sports Talk Show live weekdays 4 to 6. Glad you're here. Hope you've had a great Wednesday and solid week so far. It's always a great day in the Black Hills. We know that. The Nate Brown Show is on Fox Sports Rapid City, presented by Spearfish Motors. Our partners up at Spearfish Motors, brand new Cadillacs and GMCs. Full line. The new Yukon, the new GMC Sierra pickups, the 2024 models, outstanding. Take a look at them. 1910 North Main and Spearfish. No, Spearfish Motors is locally owned. New car and truck dealership. There's not many of those left locally owned. A lot of huge companies. They're local. Spearfish GMC Cadillac. Online, start there. Take a look at the inventory. Spearfishmotors.com, your GMC Cadillac dealer. Frank Schwab in tonight. NFL draft. Here we go. So much talk in the lead up to tomorrow night. Going to be huge numbers, I think. People are looking at how this is going to break down. YahooSports.com. Frank Schwab in on Fox Sports Rapid City. Frank, good to have you back. How are you?
Hey, good. How are you?
I am doing good. Thanks for the time. So my question of the day is it's one of those that's you got to choose one or the other. So I asked my audience, Caleb Williams is going to be the number one pick. Bears are going to take him. Is Caleb going to be the star or the bust?
I mean, I just don't know how you can call him a bust or even predict it. It's going to happen to some guys in this draft. But, I mean, there's nothing in Caleb Williams' profile that leads me to believe he's not going to be, that he shouldn't be a really, really good player. Like, things happen all the time. I mean, guys get hurt. Off-field stuff happens. Coaching staff isn't the right fit, whatever. But it's hard for me to sit here and say, yeah, Caleb Williams is going to be a bust. No, there's a good reason he's going to be the first pick of the draft. I mean, so if those are the options, I'd say star. He has a lot of traits you really like. The playmaking, the arm. I mean, good feel for the game. He's got everything you want in a quarterback. It doesn't mean he's going to work out. I mean, it didn't work out for Zach Wilson, but it certainly there's nothing that leads me to believe he's going to be a bust.
Okay, I'm with you on that, Frank. I'm kind of going against the grain. 56% of the audience so far says a bust, and I think that's just natural. People are like, oh, he's going to be the next bust. I think he's going to be a player. I'm not saying Patrick Mahomes, because nobody is, but I'm not saying Zach Wilson. And I'm looking at him going, man, he was high level, and I think he's going to be a player. I look at it, though, going to Chicago for you, what do you think about the Bears, the team, the organization for him to land? That matters. How do you think they are?
It absolutely does matter. I'll give you that. And I think one of the most, crazy stories in sports that doesn't get enough publicity is how the Bears have gone literally 73 years between all-pro quarterbacks. It's amazing that they've never hit on anybody. Like, you stumble into a Brock Purdy or a Tom Brady or a Tony Romo or a Kurt Warner or Dak Prescott even. These guys have never gotten it right. Literally, since 1950, they have not had one first-team All-Pro quarterback. It's astonishing. In the Super Bowl era, they've had 2 Pro Bowlers. Just a Pro Bowl. The Pro Bowl is not as hard to make as All-Pro. Pro Bowl, 1985 Jim McMahon, and then a few years ago, Mitch Trubisky made it as an injury replacement.
Right.
It's astounding, and I don't know what to make of that. Is it just something within the context of the franchise that they can't develop anybody? Have they just been really, really, really unlucky? That's what I assume it is. So, yes, I mean, when Caleb Williams is going to Chicago, it makes me pause and wonder, is this just kind of a graveyard for quarterbacks? Is it just that kind of franchise that they just can never, ever, ever get it right? Maybe. We're going to find out because, look, if Caleb Williams doesn't work out for them, then they're just cursed a quarterback. That is never going to work out. And, there is some runway between star and bust. Would you say Kirk Cousins is a bust? No. I don't think so. Would you say, but nobody would say he's a star either, I guess. So if Caleb Williams has a Kirk Cousins type of career, if you sign up the Chicago Bears for 10 years of Kirk Cousins level play, I think they would do it. Or Dak Prescott, or any of these quarterbacks we don't think is stars but are still pretty good. I think that they would be okay with it. But, here we are at the eve of the draft, and everybody thinks that every quarterback draft is going to be a superstar.
Frank Schwab in tonight, NFL, yahoosports.com. Find him on Twitter, X. Follow him at Yahoo Schwab, where you'll find him. So who got your attention outside of Caleb Williams here? If you're just talking QBs, like I just mentioned, I don't know either, but my feel is I don't know about Drake May. I don't know. He was really good at North Carolina one year, then regressed another. Jaden Daniels has been in college forever, transferred and the whole thing. Who's the quarterback that you think this is a guy that, like maybe the Josh Allen, people were like, I don't know about the Bills going Josh Allen, and now look at him. Who's that guy, if you guess?
Yeah, I guess it would. To me, it's Penix. He's just such a good player. He's got such good arm strength. He does a lot of things really well. Some of the reasons he's dropping are medical reasons in his past. So if he's able to stay healthy and get a little bit of luck that way, you remove that variable from it. I think everybody, look, Jaden Daniels, Drake May, I don't think there's as many. They're going to go second, third in the draft. There are questions about them for sure. Once you get past, there's tiers of quarterbacks in this draft. I think clearly Caleb's number 1. 2 and 3 are on a tier by themselves. it's almost like McCarthy's on a tier by himself, because I don't think McCarthy really compares to May or Daniels. I think they're just kind of a clear step ahead of them. And then you get down to Penix and Nix as your fourth tier there. So, I'm not going to sit here and tell you, I think Jaden Daniels is going to surprise everybody and be a player. He's going to be the second pick of the draft, and rightfully so. So if I'm digging a little deeper at somebody beyond the top three that I think really might hit, I just maybe I'm just being fooled by college production and what you see on tape, but I just like what Michael Penix does. I mean, he carried that Washington team, and not carried. They're a good team. They had talent, but for him to have that kind of success and lead his team as far as it did said a lot about him as a player. I just like him, and I think of all the non-top three guys, I think he has the best chance to hit.
I love that. I just said Michael Penix, so I said this, Frank, for my Denver Broncos. I said, how do the Broncos at number 12 not sit here and see Michael Penix, a system guy, throws on time, throws over the middle, doesn't improvise? That's Sean Payton's guy. Just run the play. I'll draw it up for you. You deliver the ball. How do the Broncos not take Penix?
And that's what I sit here and say to myself when, we talk about how many quarterbacks are going to go in the first round. And, obviously I deal with the betting side as well. And the over-under over at BetMGM is 4.5. I just don't see how that doesn't go over, because it would stun me if we come out of the first round and the Minnesota Vikings and Denver Broncos don't have quarterbacks. How do these teams pass on Bo Nix and Michael Penix? I don't know. I think they're good enough. Maybe it's a reach, but I do think they'd be a good fit for what each of them wants to do. If Nix ends up with the Vikings, if Penix ends up with the Broncos, good coaches, good systems, I would say, yeah, that fits for every reason you said on Penix. For all the reasons we, would like Bo Nix, I think he would fit with Kevin O'Connell. I just don't see. It's hard for me to imagine a scenario where all six guys don't go in the first round, really. Maybe I'm just being foolish and talk myself into quarterbacks and all that kind of stuff. But you have more teams with desperate needs of quarterbacks than there are first-round level quarterbacks. And that leads me to believe we're going to see these guys go earlier than you should. And you're right. If the Broncos are sitting there at 12 and Michael Penix is there and they haven't moved up for McCarthy or anything like that, yeah, I don't know how they pass. You're going to draft a cornerback and really, truly sell your fans on, Jarrett Stidham and Zach Wilson are going to compete for the starting job? Really? I don't know how you do that and pass on a Michael Penix. But, hey, it's one of those things where if they've watched the film and they don't like that player, then pass. I don't agree with forcing it either, and this is a long-term rebuild for the Broncos. So you don't get married to somebody you're not really sure about, and 12th pick of the draft, you're pretty much marrying somebody. I'm interested to see what the Broncos in particular do. They are the absolute wild card of this draft to me.
Frank Schwab tonight, NFL writer, yahoosports.com. Find him there at Yahoo Schwab. Frank, always great. Thanks for hopping on.
Yeah, appreciate it, Nate.
Appreciate your time. Frank Schwab tonight, yahoosports.com. He's looking at the Broncos tomorrow night. Oh, boy, aren't we all? Aren't we all? yahoosports.com, national NFL writer Frank Schwab in tonight on Fox Sports Rapid City. I'm going to point that out. I'm on record. If they can get up high enough, I get to guess J.J. McCarthy, I guess. I don't know. My only two choices tomorrow, for me as a Broncos fan, I'm going to say it one more time if you missed the opening segment. So I'm on record. I'm not going to back down from this. It is Michael Penix for me. It is J.J. McCarthy. Yeah, that's fine. You're going to have to give up more to get him, too. So, to me, it's Michael Penix, my choice. Can sling it, on-time thrower, no improvise. This is Sean Payton. He doesn't want to make stuff up as we go. He wants to throw on time, throw the route, okay, and let it develop. That's Michael Penix, okay? So I'm not telling you Michael Penix is maybe going to be a superstar. I'm not telling you that. But if you're the Broncos and the fit in the Sean Payton scenario, you could get Michael Penix at number 12 tomorrow. You got to take him tomorrow. That's it. Broncos got to get Penix. I'll take J.J. McCarthy. Get Bo Nix out of here. I'm telling you, that's not for Matt Kearney's benefit. Bo Nix, I watched Bo Nix. It's bubble screen fest. It's high percentage stuff. The Oregon offense doesn't work in the NFL. That's it. This isn't Oregon, okay? You're not playing Oregon State anymore. This is the NFL. Penix can sling it, can throw a lot of different routes, a lot of different ways. Bo Nix, bubble screen, under 10 yards, that's it. Okay? And I've seen Bo Nix a lot. It's not like he just showed up at Oregon. Played down there at Auburn. Wasn't great. So I don't want Bo. I want Penix. Give me J.J. McCarthy. The Broncos have to make a quarterback pick tomorrow. Otherwise, we're going to go into this thing. Oh, we'll get somebody in the third round, and, hey, we're going to have Jarrett Stidham, Zach Wilson, and Spencer Rattler. What a quarterback room, I'll tell you. It's going to happen tomorrow night. I'm juiced. Are you ready? Okay, Matt Zimmer's covering the draft tomorrow. How many South Dakota players are going to go? Who's going to be the first off the board for the Jackrabbits? We'll get into that and more. Sioux Falls Live's Matt Zimmer on the way.
You're listening to The Nate Brown Show. Follow us and watch the show live on Twitter at Nate Brown Show.
Looking for a career? Look no further. Pete Lean & Sons has immediate openings for ready-mix concrete delivery drivers. No CDL? No problem. We offer paid training, competitive hourly rates, and full-time hours. Plus, Pete Lean & Sons offers excellent benefits, including a low-deductible health insurance plan and a 401k with a generous company match. At Pete Lean & Sons, team members can also grow and develop their trade while supporting local communities. These are all reasons why employees hired at Pete Lean & Sons want to retire at Pete Lean & Sons. Apply now at PeteLean.com.
Save big money at Menards. Get your garden ready with groundbreaking power equipment from Earthquake. Tillers are great for breaking up compact soil and killing weeds in your garden. Get maximum power in a compact frame with a Pioneer rear tine tiller. It features dual direction tines and self-propelled steel wheels. Hurry in for all of your lawn and garden needs and visit Menards.com to see all of our great deals going on now.
Save big money at Menards.
Prices have been lowered through the end of the month on over 60 pre-owned vehicles at Spearfish GMC Cadillac. 2020 Ford Expedition King Ranch, very low miles, now $55,650. 2019 Chevy Silverado High Country, $39,940. 2018 GMC Sierra 1500, $28,820. 2013 Chevy Equinox, $59,950. Stop in and see why your best deal is here. Spearfish GMC Cadillac, online at spearfishmotors.com.
We're all going somewhere. Going higher, faster, farther. Going in new directions, to new places. At Monument Health, we keep going so you can keep going. We're dedicated to advanced orthopedic care with the latest innovations, technology, expertise, and treatment. So keep exploring, keep making memories, keep going with Monument Health as your partner. Learn more at monument.health/orthopedics.
Live from the Anytime Auto Sales Service and Details Studio. Sales, service, and recreation. This is Fox Sports Rapid City.
Your Sports, Your Show. The Nate Brown Show is live on Fox Sports Rapid City. We're live weekdays 4 to 6, 106.7 FM, 1150 AM, and the Black Hills on the radio. Thanks for tuning in. You can bring us up a lot of different ways on your phone. Stream us, foxsportsrapidcity.com, right there if you get out of radio range across South Dakota. Having people check in from Sioux Falls. We're seeing some online listening there, foxsportsrapidcity.com. So we appreciate that on the Nate Brown Show. Also, you can follow us and watch the show live right now in studio on Twitter, X, at Nate Brown Show. Follow us and watch us live at Nate Brown Show. Matt Zimmer's in from SiouxFallsLive.com. Hey, tomorrow, draft starts, and then the rest into the weekend. You're looking, how many South Dakota players are going to go into the NFL this year? How many going to get drafted? Hey, let's do a little over-under. Matt Zimmer on tonight. Matt, good to have you. How are you?
I'm good, Nate. How are you?
I'm doing good. So you know the players as good as anybody. I'm seeing a lot of talk about Mason McCormick, the O-lineman for the Jacks. I'm seeing discussion on Isaiah Davis. I don't know how high, but I'm looking at overall. What do you say if did a little over-under? How many South Dakota ties, players with South Dakota ties are going to go this weekend?
I think it's going to be 5. I think you're going to have the 3 guys from SDSU. I mean, there's more than 3 from SDSU who are hoping to get drafted, but I think 3 of them are. I think Miles Harden from USD is going to get picked, and I think Tip Ryman, St. Thomas More kid who finished up his career at O'Gorman and went to college at Illinois, played for the Fighting Illini. I think he's going to get drafted too. So you got those 2, Mason McCormick, Garrett Greenfield, and Isaiah Davis are the other ones for SDSU. There's still some other ones that, if some team out there likes a Jackson Yankee, a Zach Hines, an Isaiah Stahlberg, USD's got a couple other guys too. Augustana has a tackle, Blake Larson, who was maybe the best tackle in Division II. I haven't seen him on too many boards, but, he's a prospect. It's going to be probably the biggest impact that South Dakota has ever made on the NFL draft in one season.
Very interesting. Mason McCormick, what have you heard about how he's impressed? Guy out of Sioux Falls, really nice player on the O-line. How high are we thinking here potentially?
I've seen as high as the 2nd round, but I've also learned over the years that, especially with FCS guys, whatever the highest projection is that you see out there, probably knock a round or 2 off of it. So I'm expecting Mason to probably go in the 3rd or 4th. Maybe I'm wrong. He absolutely killed it at the Combine. Had, I think, the highest athleticism score of any of the guards that were there. Obviously had a very productive career. He's a 6-year guy. He's 24 years old. And NFL scouts, NFL personnel people will tell you they like older, more polished offensive linemen. Both Mason and Garrett, could have come out last year. But they were like, right now everyone sees us as a 7th-round fringe guy. Let's go back to school for another year. They won another national championship, of course, but also just spent another year getting bigger, getting stronger, polishing their games up a lot more. They both went to an offensive line boot camp with Alex Boone, a former Viking and Bronco offensive lineman, over the offseason. They just did everything they needed to do to improve their stock, and it worked. Last year at this time, they were at the bottom of most draft boards. Now almost every mock draft out there has them both getting picked. So credit to them. What kind of career they're going to have, we'll see. But as I wrote in my some of my coverage this week, you look at the guys from South Dakota that have been drafted, that have gone on to the NFL in recent years, they have not been busts.
Right.
You look at Dallas Goedert, you look at Tucker Kraft, you look at Jack Cochran, an undrafted guy out of USD who's worked his way onto the Chiefs, first as a practice squad guy, now he plays a little bit. Christian Roseboom was not drafted. He's now a starting linebacker for the Rams. Pierre Strong has never been a starter yet in the league, but he averages something like 5 yards a carry whenever he gets in. He does well. Tom Compton, played 15 years in the NFL, a USD guy who was a 6th-round draft pick. These guys that get chances from South Dakota, they go to the NFL, and they tend to perform well. They tend to earn their draft status, that the contracts that they get, right down to, Trey Pipkins out of USF. It's starting for the Chargers. C.J. Ham's been in the league for a decade. Augustana running back. I think at this point, whether you're talking about South Dakota State and obviously the success that they've had as a program, or just guys from, like I said, a C.J. Ham from Augustana, a Dennis Gardeck from USF, I think South Dakota as a football state has kind of proven to the NFL at this point, if you take a chance on our guys, they're not going to make you regret it.
Couple of Jack's offensive linemen could get selected here. Greenfield, McCormick. Matt Zimmer on tonight, SiouxFallsLive.com, talking South Dakota Ties NFL draft here this weekend. Isaiah Davis is getting a lot of coverage. I've seen some ESPN guys saying this guy's the best guy. They said forget best FCS guy. This guy's really good. What do we think about Isaiah Davis? I don't know the value of running backs and his explosiveness. What do you think about Isaiah?
It's hard to say because, like you just said, the value of running backs right now is, I don't want to say at an all-time low necessarily, but obviously NFL teams are not investing in running backs like they are quarterbacks and wide receivers and tight ends and even offensive tackles and other spots. But, I think you've heard it enough. You've seen it enough. Isaiah Davis does measure up with anyone in the country, regardless of the level. I think if anything hurts him, his 40 time was nothing special. I think he ran like a 4.57. That's not bad, but he's obviously not a burner. When Pierre Strong got drafted in the 4th round a couple of years ago, he had run a 4.37, I believe. So maybe that's what's holding Isaiah back. But he's a big dude. Anyone who's seen him play, he runs with a violent, physical style. He can catch the ball. Everyone has seen that stiff arm that he has. I mean, that thing is a weapon that, helped the Jacks go to 3 national championships. It's tough to say. I've seen him go as high as the 4th round. I've seen him tied to your Broncos a few times, actually, on a couple of mock drafts.
I'd like that.
Yeah, but then there's other mock drafts I've seen that he's not even on it. So I don't know if that means that there's some people out there who have just overlooked him, or if they don't like what they see. I don't know. It's tough to say. And I think the more we are going through this draft process here in South Dakota year after year, you start to recognize that it's an inexact science. I've been talking to Jacks coaches all week this week leading up to the draft, and they all tell you, I don't know. We don't know what they look for. We don't know what they want. They ask us questions. They come to our practices. They work our guys out. They do interviews, and we still don't really have much of a sense of what they really want when it comes time to actually get to the draft. So we'll find out this weekend. But like I said, I think a minimum of 5 guys from South Dakota are going to get taken, and you're going to see at least another half dozen, get invited to rookie mini camps, training camps. Lots and lots of guys are going to get a chance.
I'm not a draft analyst. I'm a simpleton. Isaiah Davis looks like an NFL running back.
Yeah.
I mean, he just looks like it. Big, strong, good cuts, shifty for how big he is. All right, Matt Zimmer on tonight, SiouxFallsLive.com, covering the draft and see how many Jacks, Coyotes, whoever's going to go in. Find him on Twitter X at Matt J. Zimmer. I want to touch on this really quick. So college football playoff is meeting this week. They've met the last 2 days. There's talk about the group of 5 teams, the 64 teams and the group of 5 reorganizing. Here's the idea, Matt. You guys, hey, why don't you have your own playoff? That's the talk the last 2 days. There's a lot of things that could happen, but if group of 5 teams say, yeah, we're not going to be in this big boy stuff, we'll do our own playoff, what does that mean for an SDSU, USD, NDSU? Does that mean, hey, we got to go, it's time to get into this if they do their own thing?
I do think it, however you want to word it, hastens the process maybe. I think, Nate, we've been talking about this on your show for years. At what point does the FBS level break off or have some sort of split, or is there a merger of some kind with FCS and other, we've been heading down this road for a long time. And it sounds like now maybe, these things are coming closer to being sorted out. And if that's the way it's sorted out, the one thing I've always said, the one thing, Justin Sell, the athletic director at SDSU, has always said is, however it shakes out, the Jackrabbits want to be in that second tier.
Okay.
They are not at this point capable or ready to be in the same classification with Alabama and Ohio State and Michigan and schools like that. We know that. But we also have seen that there's no reason for them to think they can't compete with the Colorado States of the world, the Bowling Greens, the MAC, the other conferences, the Mountain West, those group of 5s. If they're having their own championship, then what that essentially does is knock the FCS down to a 3rd tier. They don't want to be there. And we've already seen the FCS has, clearly been watered down in recent years with so many of the good teams moving up. How many of the best teams have moved up? James Madison, Sam Houston, all these teams that used to be FCS powers, they're gone now. It's kind of just the Dakota schools, the Montana schools, really, that are kind of keeping the FCS at a high level. Well, if you have this separate tournament now where you're competing with similar schools that you feel like you have enough in common with, you can compete with them, that's where they're going to go. So if that happens, I couldn't give you a time frame on how quickly it would happen or how prepared they are to make it work. I don't know what that means with conference, affiliation and all that kind of stuff. But yes, I think at some point, sooner than later, certainly North Dakota State and South Dakota State are going to want to be a part of that second-tier tournament.
Yeah, I put some schools in there: NDSU, SDSU, Montana, Montana State. Those are kind of the 4 I'm like, they would want to be there, I think, if a group of 5 breaks off, has their own, essentially, league and championship. Matt Zimmer tonight, really quick, hiring out there at Augustana. I went to college with the guy, know him. He played at Black Hill State, was an assistant women's coach at Black Hill State to get his start. Then he did high school. Then he did JUCO. Then he did D2. So he's made his way. Nate Vogel hired. He's the Sioux Falls guy, and he's coming back to Sioux Falls, head women's basketball coach at Augie. What do you think of this?
Real good hire. I mean, I wonder if he applied last year and they didn't take a chance on him because they were coming off a losing season, or if he wasn't didn't want it at the time or what. But I was really impressed with his resume. That team he took over in Texas was 0-27 the year before he got there, and just this year in their 5th year they went 25-7. So clearly, has the chops, has the resume. Local guy from Sioux Falls, and they need that because he's got a mess to clean up. I mean, their first hire after Dave Krause didn't work out, and that has set the program back a little bit. Most of their players are in the portal. He's got some work to do to get that thing back on solid footing, but it looks like they found someone who's probably capable of doing that.
Nate Vogel, new women's basketball coach at Augustana. He'll join the program next week. Matt Zimmer on tonight from SiouxFallsLive.com. That's the site. Great coverage. Matt J. Zimmer on Twitter. Always great, Matt. Thanks for the time.
You bet, Nate. See ya.
Appreciate it. Matt Zimmer, SiouxFallsLive.com. On Twitter, X at Matt J. Zimmer. Matt Zimmer tonight, live from Sioux Falls. His number of how many players with South Dakota ties go in the draft this week? 5. He says 5. 3, the top guys to watch, Greenfield and McCormick, O-lineman from SDSU, and Isaiah Davis, the running back from SDSU. 3 of the top guys to watch. Into the drive at 5 on a Wednesday. All right, we've got 5 questions from Chris. We got to make that count. And we've got another pro sports team saying we need some money from the public. We need some money from the citizens. What do you think of this ask of these citizens? We'll discuss on the way.
You're listening to The Nate Brown Show.
Where will you find the Black Hills' best selection of used cars, trucks, and SUVs? Danny Emanuel Rapid Chevrolet. That's where. Shop GMCs, Rams, Fords, imports, and more. Plus, used Chevys and GM certified pre-owned. Many are late model local trades. Shop over 300 used vehicles and buy with no money down and no payments for 90 days with qualified credit. 16 local and national lenders available and all applications accepted. And we're paying top dollar for all trades. See us at Danny Emanuel Rapid Chevrolet or DannyEmanuelRapidChevrolet.com.
KIMM Rapid City and K294BT Rapid City, the Black Hills Sports Station, 106.7 FM and 1150 AM, Fox Sports Rapid City.
Attention, please. The new loaded cheesy ranch sticks at Pizza Ranch are loaded with flavor. Skillet crust, melty cheese, herbs, spices, and now up to 2 of your favorite toppings like pepperoni, sausage, jalapenos, and bacon. You've really got to get a load of these. Like, literally, get a whole load of them. Pizza Ranch, everyone's favorite buffet.
Stop into your local Pizza Ranch with 2 Rapid City locations. Their buffet open daily 11 to 8 and order online at pizzaranch.com.
Whether you run the race, make the catch, cast a line, pitch a tent, or just look good doing it, Shields Rapid City has your gear. From athletic clothing from your favorite team, cold weather gear to keep you warm, to the best camping selection this side of the Black Hills, and the most stylish and functional women's outerwear and footwear. Shields has the widest selection of the best brands in the business. So when you're ready to get out, get in the game, or get going, get to Shields. Shields, we're right there with you at Rushmore Crossing in Rapid City.
Hi, I'm Tim Wrench, and I'm seeking personal injury cases. If you've been injured because someone else did something wrong, call me up. I'm a trial lawyer. I've tried criminal and civil cases for decades, and I can use all of that experience to help you. I also know this, that when insurance companies know that you're represented by a trial lawyer, they take your claim more seriously, and if it is to be settled, it's settled better with a trial lawyer. Wrench Law, 605-341-1111, wrenchlaw.com.
Ever wish you had a take-back? Highmark Credit Union is pleased to offer innovative loans with take-back. Most banks and credit unions make you choose between paying ahead on a loan or saving for emergencies. We do things differently. At Highmark, you can have both. Access the cash you paid above your monthly minimum whenever you need it. Make the smart money move. Highmark Credit Union. HighmarkFCU.com.
Hi, it's Colin Coward. Great to be in the Black Hills. Getting the Herd weekdays 10 to 1 on 106.7 FM and 1150 AM. Fox Sports.
Oh, good stuff tonight. Thanks for checking in. The Nate Brown Show live weekdays 4 to 6 on the Black Hills Sports Station, 106.7 FM, 1150 AM, Fox Sports Rapid City. Stream us anywhere FoxSportsRapidCity.com. Live click us there. You got the shows from Dan Patrick, Colin Cowherd, Doug Gottlieb, and South Dakota Sports Talk Show weekdays 4 to 6. The Nate Brown Show there at FoxSportsRapidCity.com. Drive at 5. We've made it. Here we go. Let's enjoy it. Let's enjoy it. Brian Noe's on tap to get in the goods. Brian Noe tonight, Fox Sports Radio national host, one of the great guests who'll come up. Cody Tucker from Wyoming over in Laramie. We'll talk Mountain West, Group of 5, and this potential plan for Group of 5 having their own league. Cody Tucker's on from Laramie. 7220 Sports on the way. It's the Drive at 5, brought to you by Summit Automotive Group. Your home for the best pre-owned selection, but really the best experience. Car buying built around you. Find out the Summit difference. Start at SummitAutoGRP.com. SummitAutoGRP.com. When it comes to pre-owned, start there and then experience the Summit difference. All right, it's a Wednesday on the Nate Brown Show. You know what that means, right? 5 questions from Chris coming up. I'm ready if you're ready, okay? 5 questions from Chris coming up. But first, let me get to this new story out from Chicago. Yes, I know Caleb Williams is getting ready to be the Bears' #1 pick tomorrow night. But the Chicago Bears have unveiled a new plan today. Not about the draft, eh? This is about their future Lakefront Stadium in Chicago. Mayor Brandon Johnson took office less than a year ago. Says it's time to have a crown jewel of the city, the new Chicago Bears Stadium. 77,000 seats. Reinvigorate the museum campus down there by the lake, hosting concerts and Bears games and special events. Thousands of good-paying jobs, boosting tax revenues, an economic driver. See, I'm selling it. So the Chicago Bears have unveiled their plans today. I looked at this. Boy, futuristic, domed Lakefront Stadium. I was looking at it. The cost, $4.75 billion. Boy, those construction costs have went up. $4.75 billion, that's the cost of the new Bears Stadium that they want on the lakefront. Here's the kicker. They have asked the taxpayers of Chicago to pick up $2.4 billion of the price tag. Oh boy. All right. The mayor said this announcement today is bigger than football. This is a true public investment. I get it. I'm a proponent of this. Sports as economic drivers and massive organizations like this, how important they are to the economic scene and to Chicago and the whole thing. I get this. I'm a proponent of this type of stuff usually. Public-private partnerships. I like it usually. $2.4 billion of the $4.75 cost. That's a hitter, ladies and gentlemen. That's a halfway hitter. Now, how does this compare? The Minnesota Vikings built U.S. Bank Stadium. They put in $477 million. The state put in $348 million. And then the hospitality tax in Minneapolis went $150 million. So there's a ratio there. There was kind of half and half there. But the cost was much lower. This stadium's $4.75 billion. They're saying, well, Vikings kind of got half. Maybe we can do half from the citizens. $2.4 billion taxpayer funded. How about the Raiders, Allegiant Stadium? $750 million from the public, over $1 billion from the Raiders. So they didn't quite go half. The Bears unveiled the plans today. $2.4 billion. I asked the question of the day here on the Nate Brown Show. Do you think it makes good economic sense for citizens to help pro sports owners with a portion of public financing for new stadiums? What's your answer? 720-1067 on the Nate Brown Show. Barron's Wilson text line, 720-1067. Does it make good economic sense for citizens to help pro sports owners with a portion of public financing for new stadiums? The vote right now, 67% say no, make the rich owners pay it. 33% yes, it's a huge economic engine. So 67% say no today from you guys. I asked this question. This is a trick question because I asked it 3 years ago. We looked it up. 3 years ago on this show, I said the same thing, and it wasn't specific. I talked about, does it make economic sense for citizens to help pro sports owners pay for new stadiums? 3 years ago on this show, 72% of you said, yes, it's an economic driver. Now it's flipped 3 years later. 67% of you say, no, make the rich owners pay for it. That is a very interesting case study. How has our approach on this changed? Very, very interesting. Wow. So 72% 3 years ago say, yes. It makes sense. It's a good economic decision. It's a huge economic driver, these stadiums and the jobs and the tax revenue. Here today, when the Bears are going to do it, they're looking for $2.4 billion from citizens, about half of the $4.75 billion cost. 67% of you say, no, don't do it. The rich owners should pay for it. The price tag just went up. $4.75 billion. Amazing. Okay, Brian Noe is getting ready to go. Let's do that. Fox Sports Radio national host. A lot to discuss with Brian Noe. 5 questions from Chris on the way. A busy drive at 5. Hang on.
This is the Nate Brown
The wait is over. Ensemble entry doors exclusively from Renewal by Andersen have arrived with an incredible offer. Secure, timeless style, elegant features, customized countless ways with the legendary quality of Renewal by Andersen. Right now, you get 20% off every Ensemble entry door. No money down, no interest, and no payments for 12 months. No payments for a year. Please scan the QR code on your screen or visit RBARapidCity.com now to book your free estimate. Ensemble entry doors, the wait is over.
We are number one. So you can always be their number one. Black Hills Surgical Hospital and Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center. The number one hospital in the nation for major orthopedic surgery.
Leather, you get it. Up to $1,000 to spend anywhere in the entire store. We have the best selection in 5 states, so now might just be the time to purchase your next Harley-Davidson motorcycle. Black Hills Harley-Davidson, I-90 exit 55, or check us out online at blackhillshd.com.
Now through April 30th at Pops Tire Service, get up to $100 instant savings. Save $70 when you purchase 4 eligible Bridgestone tires or $60 when you purchase 4 eligible Firestone tires. Plus, get $30 off when your purchase is made on your Pops Tire Service credit card. Wait, there's more! Purchase 4 eligible tires and save an additional $40 off installation. Hurry! Offers end April 30th. Pops, we know tires and service. You should know Pops. Subject to credit approval. See store for complete details or visit popstire.com.
Here's your Fox Sports Rapid City forecast. Lows of aloft around 48 tonight under partly cloudy skies, southerly winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Sunshine mixed with clouds at times. Tomorrow, thunderstorms likely, daytime highs approaching 76. Cloudy skies expected. Tomorrow night, thunderstorms likely, lows dip down to about 49. That's your forecast on the Black Hills Sports Station, Fox Sports Rapid City. Right now, it's 70 degrees.
This isn't just the sound of a legendary Brunswick pool table. It's the sound of families about to make memories together. And while this may sound like the hum of a spa, listen closely, and you'll hear backyard fun for years to come. So while Splash City's guarantee of quality sure sounds good, we know quality time sounds even better.
Who wants another burger?
Splash City, 1024 West Omaha, across from Connects in Rapid City.
Live from the Anytime Auto Sales Service and Details Studio. Sales, service, and recreation. This is Fox Sports Rapid City.
We're back on Fox Sports Rapid City, the Nate Brown Show live, 106.7 FM, 1150 AM, foxsportsrapidcity.com. If you missed some of the show, a reminder, every show's up there in the podcast form, so every show, every guest, you can see who's on the show, where they're at, Really convenient. Download the Nate Brown Show podcast. Okay, search the Nate Brown Show wherever you get your podcasts. You have Apple, Spotify, Amazon, wherever you get your podcast. Search the Nate Brown Show, and every show's there. Brian Noe is on tonight. Fox Sports Radio national host. He likes talking ball, so we're going to talk some ball. He's on Twitter X at The No Show. And he's on the Nate Brown Show tonight. Brian, what's going on tonight? How are you?
What's going on, Nate Brown? Shout out to you and the Black Hills as always. I'm coming to you from New Orleans, outside of a TGI Fridays.
Whoa!
I haven't been here in so long I can't pronounce it.
I was going to say, that's the last TGI Fridays in America. No, anyway, enjoy that. Let me ask you about this. You spent some time in South Bend and close to Chicago and the whole thing. So before I get to the draft and everything and Caleb Williams and the Bears announced today they got a new plan for a futuristic domed lakefront stadium right there on the lake. And the mayor said $4.75 billion, and we hope the taxpayers could pick up $2.4 billion of the project. How much I guess, are citizens willing to do deals like this?
Well, a lot of it isn't up to them, if we're going to be perfectly honest about it, you know? It's like they're going to figure out what to do with taxpayer money, and we complain about it, but a lot of times they make those decisions whether we like it or not. So the city's going to look at their best interest and say, hey, if this is the cost of doing business and we're going to come out ahead, let's go ahead and do it. I just crack up when these cities that are like, oh, no, we're not paying any of this, and then the team up and leaves them, and they're like, how could you leave us? That's the part where it's like, if you neglect your girlfriend and she dumps you, you can't be like, where did this come from over here? So I always think of it that way when the cities are not willing to pony up, and then they cry foul when the team leaves them.
Do you believe, then, that citizens should kind of, hey, if I'm in Chicago, or maybe it's Kansas City where they just voted it down, the upgrades to Arrowhead, they just voted it down.
Yeah.
Do you think citizens should go, all right, this is an economic driver, a tax revenue generator, a job generator. I guess we can help pick this up. Is that the play?
I mean, I think it's it's a good investment to have an NFL team in your city. Like, obviously, it'd be like buying a car. You would like to get the best price on that car instead of paying top dollar. I definitely get that part of the negotiation, but you're better off having an NFL team in your city, especially if it's the Chicago Bears or the Kansas City Chiefs. It's just how much that price tag ends up being. And look, man, I'm one of these people. Some people get bent out of shape about where their tax dollars go. I worry about what I can control, Nate. I don't know about you, but I'm going to worry about things I have control over instead of where my tax dollars go, because that is a losing battle every single time.
Okay. What do you think of a domed stadium in Chicago? Domed?
That just sounds wrong, right? Like, one of my buddies from home, we always used to joke, he's a Bears fan, and so listening to Chicago sports radio, some of these fans, they take it way too far, Nate, where it's like, oh, January, that's bear weather, ultimate advantage. And now they're in a dome? That just doesn't even sound right.
Okay, I'm with you on that, but as I get older, I love domes. I hate to tell you. As I get older, I love domes. I went to the Broncos-Chiefs game. It was 24 degrees. I survived, but the Broncos winning helped me out. Okay, let's go to the draft. I'm going to ask you about my Broncos and everybody else. Brian Noe's on tonight, Fox Sports Radio national host. Let's start with the Bears first. So the Bears are going to go Caleb Williams. I waited till today to ask this question of the day. Caleb Williams, the Brian Noe take, star or ultimately a bust? Which is it?
I would lean star way quicker than bust. I'm not doubting his talent whatsoever. It's really just, and look, man, I'm not one of these people making a big deal out of the crying thing. It's just, can he adjust on a maturity level, right? Like, I'm not blowing the crying thing out of proportion. It's just, does he have it from that standpoint. I don't doubt his talent at all. I think he's got to get rid of the ball on time a lot more often in the NFL. But to me, it's more about, is he just that guy in terms of a leader, in terms of maturity? And time will tell. I think he can be. I'm not betting against him, but I don't see him being a bust. I'd be very surprised. And look, Nate, there have been a lot of busts in NFL draft history, and a lot of people would be saying the same thing I am before the draft, but this is a special talent in Caleb Williams, and so I just don't see him absolutely fizzling out. I think star potential is way more likely than a total bust.
I'm in agreement with Brian. No, I'm in agreement with my other guests tonight. They said more likely a star than a bust. My audience says 56% bust, 44% star. We just like rooting against guys. I understand. Let's go to the Broncos. Here's what I said, Brian. You're not as heavily invested in my Broncos as I am. But I said the Broncos are intriguing. They picked number 12. Sean Payton needs a quarterback. This isn't going to be the Jarrett Stidham, Zach Wilson experiment. They got to get a quarterback. What do you think the Broncos should do from an outside perspective? Give me an objective opinion.
You know, I'm not so sure they can't just roll forward with Zach Wilson straight to the Super Bowl, Nate. Are you closing that door for sure?
Yes, I am. Yes.
Yeah, I would close that door as well. No, I agree with you. Look, man, it's just a lack of draft capital, and I'm so curious, these top 4 quarterbacks, how quickly they go in the draft, because, man, Nate, you know as well as I do, a lot of these mock drafts, they have quarterbacks going 1, 2, 3, 4, or 1, 2, 3, 5. And if that's the case, I don't think that the Broncos are going to be in that mix. So let's just say that they don't get one of the top 4 prospects. Then what? You
Michael
either
Penix.
trade down from 12 and try to get Bo Nix possibly later in the first round, or you really roll the dice and hope that he falls out of the first round and you could get back in the second round. If you're not there with the top 4 prospects, it becomes really intriguing, and I would love to know how Sean Payton and the Broncos have Bo Nix and Michael Penix Jr. rated, because you might be looking at one of those 2 guys if you're looking at the next little, class down in terms of the prospects and how they're rated. So I'm really curious to see what your Broncos end up with, but I agree. It's not going to be Stidham and Zach Wilson when it's all said and done.
Okay, I'm on record. I want Penix. I said it here tonight. I wanted to get out in front of it. Michael Penix is an on-time thrower, accurate, can really sling it. He'll stay in the system. He's not going to improvise. This is Sean Payton. I'm going to drop the scheme, the plays. You deliver it. That's Penix. So I want Penix. Bo Nix is a bubble screen star. I can't have it. Okay, so I'm going to go Penix. That's what I'm on record for. Would you be with me? No?
I would not be. I would be more Bo Nix in this one. In that specific offense, that specific scheme. I look at Michael Penix Jr., and look, man, he put up numbers at Washington. There's no doubt about that. But a couple of things that worry me. He had a ton of talent around him, where you've got 3 receivers that are going to be high draft picks. Adunze is going to be in the top 10, You also have the medical stuff. When you have a couple of ACLs, a shoulder issue, that worries me. I don't love the delivery. It's a little bit elongated, if you will. Not quite Tim Tebow's sundial elongated, how long it took him to throw the ball, but a little too elongated for my taste. I would go Bo Nix in this situation, but we'll see what they end up doing, Nate.
Producer of the Nate Brown Show is Matt Kearney, and he is just smiling. He's a Bo Nix fan club president here in the Black Hills. He's the president of the Bo Nix fan club, and Brian No just got an honorary membership. I hope it's not Bo. We shall see. Let me ask you about the Patriots. They're sitting at number 3, Brian. Their team's not good. There's a report today that said nobody's really calling the Patriots for number 3. Nobody's really calling the Patriots. Do we buy that?
No, because I've heard other reports where there are teams that are hitting up the Patriots and just gauging what the cost would be. I believe that way more because, look, man, you've got top quarterback prospects, and they're 3rd in the order. So I absolutely think teams are at least calling to gauge what it might cost. I can't imagine that the phone at Foxborough is just deadly silent and nobody's picking up the phone to talk to them because these quarterbacks, man, they're going to go potentially 1, 2, 3, and like I said, maybe 4 in a row for the first time ever. That'd be unprecedented. Or 4 in the top 5. I can't imagine if that's the situation where nobody's calling. The Vikings aren't just testing the waters or gauging what a deal might look like. I don't buy that at all.
Okay, last one. You like gambling, so what do you say? The over-under on QBs taken in the first round is 4.5. It sounds like you're going like, oh, that's going to go over 4. Yes.
Yeah, I think it will. I think that Penix Jr. is probably going to sneak into the first round. I'd take the under if it's 5.5, Nate.
Okay.
But 4.5, I really like the over on that one.
Brian Noe tonight, Fox Sports Radio national host. I'll let you get to dinner, man. Thanks for hopping on.
Absolutely, Nate. Now, I'll say real fast, these QBs, you got to wonder which version you're getting. Are you getting Penix Jr. at Indiana or at Washington? Are you getting Jaden Daniels from Arizona State? Or LSU? Which are you getting in the NFL? But I know which Nate Brown I'm getting. It's the Studley version every single time.
I'm bringing it like Michael Penix, pick number 12 tomorrow. Book it. Book it. Okay. Thanks, man. Brian Noe tonight. I'm trying to get the Broncos to take Michael Penix. Brian Noe says no. He says no. Matt Kearney says no. He says Bo Nix. I'm going to tell you, this is going to be a rough show if it's Bo Nix. It's going to be a rough show. I'm going to need the weekend to survive, kind of settle down. I have a rule in life. Don't overreact for 24 hours. Somebody says something about you. Somebody complains. You got a conflict at work. Don't do anything until 24 hours. Rest, think, adjust. But I'm going to need more than 24 hours if the Broncos go with Bo Nix. And it's going to be a deal. Okay? 5 questions from Chris. Here we go on a Wednesday. 5 questions next.
Did you miss an interview or great segment on The Nate Brown Show? Just find The Nate Brown Show podcast and listen wherever you download your podcasts.
Win big with Cadillac Jack's Gaming Resort's $135,000 GMC Terrain giveaway. Earn entries every time you play through June. And with a little luck, you could land in the driver's seat of a brand new 2024 GMC Terrain. Join us every Friday and Saturday for our prize package giveaways. Win $300 every half hour from 8 to 11:30 p.m. and a whopping $1,000 at midnight. Then, on Saturday, June 29th, one lucky winner will drive away in a 2024 GMC Terrain. Cadillac Jack's Gaming Resort. How will your night play out?
Hi, this is Dr. Dan Jensen at Physio. We want to be your trusted partner for physical therapy, athlete development, and sports rehab. As the official strength and conditioning partners for Stevens, Central, Douglas, and the Rapid City Rush, our team at Physio is building the best athletes in the Black Hills. If you have an athlete in the family, we offer long-term athlete development at affordable prices for middle and high school students. We also have the only board-certified sports PT in Rapid City. At our brand new facility, Physio is ready to help you perform at your best. One-on-one physical therapy, athlete development, and sports rehab, all at one place. Get started at bhphysio.com.
Ready to be part of something big? Meet the Rapid City Sports Commission, the powerhouse behind sports in Rapid City. The commission focuses on bringing regional and national tournaments, supporting homegrown events, and creating opportunities for our kids. But it's not just games, it's a win-win for all of us. Youth sports fuel our economy. Hosting events in Rapid City means out-of-town families shop, dine, and stay with us, which boosts sales tax revenues too. To get in on the action, visit rcsportscommission.com, where we're all about the hustle.
Hey, it's Chris Broussard. Remember to catch the Odd Couple weeknights from 6 to 8 p.m. right here on Fox Sports Rapid City. And now, let's get back to Rapid City Sports Talk Show, The Nate Brown Show.
All right, here we are on a Wednesday. Thanks for finding the show. Thanks for listening, however long you spend with us. The Black Hills Sports Station. Best lineup, no doubt. We're biased here, but best lineup. Dan Patrick, nobody better. Colin Cowherd, you love him, you hate him. You love him. Doug Gottlieb, just the common man. The common man. And, of course, the Nate Brown Show, South Dakota Sports Talk Show, from local to regional to national. Got you covered here 4 to 6. Fox Sports Rapid City. Thanks for checking in. Here we go on a Wednesday. You know what it is? Are we ready? It is 5 questions from Chris. Chris, our loyal listener, sends me 5. Let's get 5 answers out the door. Question number 1. Monday marked the end of the exclusive negotiation period for the media rights holder for the NBA. President of Warner Brothers Discovery had previously said they don't need the NBA to survive. Disney had said they won't overpay for the NBA. So, your question is, which cable channel do you think would be the most adversely affected by not continuing their NBA coverage? Which cable channel, like what, ESPN or TNT? If they didn't go with the NBA, I'm going to go TNT. TNT's had the NBA. It's, that's where they have the great studio show that's won awards with Shaq and Ernie Johnson. That's good stuff. TNT's coverage, I've been watching the NBA playoffs, of course, just really good. I actually like the TNT coverage of the NBA playoffs better. I think their broadcast teams are outstanding. Ian Eagle, Spiro Dides, they're good. So TNT and the NBA, I really like. If you don't have the NBA on TNT, it's a miss for TNT. And I don't know. Negotiations happening, and a lot of these streamers are trying to get in there too. Question number 2. NHL playoffs started last weekend. Historically, it's the one sport that has the most upsets in a 7-game series. Last season, the Boston Bruins won the regular season, but lost in the first round. Why do you think hockey can be so unpredictable in determining a winning team? Well, it's just like the margin of error is like crazy to me. I'm not a hockey expert at all. Did not grow up playing hockey. I don't know the sport really, really well. When I watch it, you don't know who's going to win from one day to the next. It's like this puck bounces this way, it bounces that way. A goalie doesn't give up any goals forever. It's just so hit and miss. Who gets hot? It's wild. It's not like baseball. I have these 4 players in the lineup. I have these 2 starting pitchers. See ya, we're better. Basketball, I've got 3 great players. We're better. Hockey is, it is unpredictable. So many things can go wrong on the ice and in a fast-paced environment. It's wild. Question 3. Speaking of the playoffs, NBA's in the early stages. The Milwaukee Bucks, Phoenix Suns, and Lakers, what if they get bounced in the first round? Do you think either team will do something drastic like trading players or firing their coach? Lakers might trade some players. Suns, I don't think will do anything. They're too soft. Yes, I'm bitter about last night. The Bucks could fire their coach. They already fired one, and then Doc Rivers, edgy. Bucks could fire the coach and trade some players. I don't think Giannis, but Suns, they won't do anything. Lakers could trade some players, and Darvin Ham, I think, is okay as coach. I think. Question number 4. Broncos released their new uniforms on Monday. Since you're the voice of the Broncos, what do you think of the new treads? The treads are fine. Everybody goes crazy about the new uniforms. They look terrible. They look bad. This is ridiculous. They got the 1977 throwbacks, which are just off the chain. Those are sick. Those are sick, the 77 throwbacks. And then the jerseys and the helmets and the combos, it's called the Mile High Collection. They got a lot of different combos. Isn't that what you're supposed to have? Blue, orange, white. I'm with it. It's okay. I just hope you can't see through them like the Nike baseball uniforms. But anyway, they're okay, Chris. I'm good with them. I'm not going to complain about the Broncos' new unis. They're not as bad as the Houston Texans' alternate unis. Those are terrible. The Houston Texans' new alternates, they're terrible. Question number 5. With a tenth of the baseball season now complete, you can see trends starting to emerge. Do you think the Dodgers have to worry about their starting and relief pitching? And should the fans of the Cleveland Guardians start celebrating the best record in baseball, playing on the postseason? Well, Cleveland's going to be good in the AL Central because it's dog biscuits. So Cleveland's fine in the AL Central. They can be fine there. Dodgers don't have to worry. they don't have to worry at all. So not really. Not really, Chris. And my Cubs, they're pretty good. You didn't know that, did you? The Cubs are pretty good. Can we make a little run? 5 questions from Chris in the books. And we're back with Cody Tucker over in Laramie, Wyoming. What does he say about a group of 5 own league breaking away from the big boys? Would that benefit Wyoming? Cody Tucker next.
Live callers, big-time interviews, and breaking sports news. This is the Nate Brown Show on Fox Sports Rapid City.
The wait is over. Ensemble entry doors exclusively from Renewal by Andersen have arrived with an incredible offer. Secure, timeless style, elegant features, customized countless ways with the legendary quality of Renewal by Andersen. Right now, you get 20% off every Ensemble entry door. No money down, no interest, and no payments for 12 months. No payments for a year. Please scan the QR code on your screen or visit RBARapidCity.com now to book your free estimate. Ensemble entry doors, the wait is over.
We are number one. So you can always be their number one. Black Hills Surgical Hospital and Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center. The number one hospital in the nation for major orthopedic surgery.
.com. Hi, it's Nate Brown for Black Hills Community Bank. If you run your own company or you're looking to start a small business here in the Black Hills, you want to make sure you choose the right banking partner, and I know the right choice for business is Black Hills Community Bank. They have plenty of banking options to suit your specific needs, and Black Hills Community Bank is here to help business owners thrive and to make sure you have the support and tools to help your business grow. Just contact one of their business loan experts today or visit bhcbank.com. Member FDIC.
At Ace Steel and Recycling in Rapid City, our goal is to make recycling your materials so quick, so easy, and so profitable that you'll become a lifetime recycler. At Ace Steel and Recycling, we buy, process, and ship scrap iron, automobiles, stainless steel, and aluminum, including cans and cast. We also buy insulated wiring, as well as copper, brass, lead, batteries, zinc, and tungsten carbide. Visit acesteelusa.com or give us a call at 342-8649. Ace Steel and Recycling, 2830 Eglin Street, Rapid City.
Live from the Anytime Auto Sales Service and Details Studio. Sales, service, and recreation. This is Fox Sports Rapid City.
Welcome back in the Nate Brown Show live, 106.7 FM, 1150 AM. Fox Sports Rapid City. Thanks for listening to the radio side here in the Black Hills. A lot of ways you can listen to the show. A reminder, follow us on Twitter at Nate Brown Show and watch the show live in studio at Nate Brown Show. I think we're the only radio show streaming on Twitter and YouTube. I think so. In the state of South Dakota, anyway. I know here in Rapid City, no doubt. So want to be wherever you are. Find us there on Twitter at Nate Brown Show and search The Nate Brown Show on YouTube. You've got our YouTube channel there. You can watch us live show and the archive shows are there. Listener text coming in from Chris. I just did 5 questions from Chris, and he asked me, can you see who's going to be good in Major League Baseball yet? Do the Dodgers need to worry about pitching? Are the Cleveland Guardians the team to beat at 17-6? And I said, well, can't tell a ton, but those teams don't need to worry too much. My Cubs are pretty good. I mean, you could tell that. We're 14-9. Listener text from Chris. He said, let's see. I think my Detroit Tigers have the same record as your Cubs. We're coming for you. Chris, that's the AL Central. You should be 14-10. That's the AL Central. The Cubs are actually playing teams like the Dodgers and stuff. All right. Here we go. Let's go with Cody Tucker. Covers Wyoming, 7220sports.com. And a closet Philadelphia Phillies fan. Did you know that, Cody? How are you?
I don't think there's anything closet about it, my friend. I got the game on pause as we speak.
Oh, okay. So you're ready to go. All right. I know you're a Phillies guy. What's the story there? What's the story, by the way? Why are you a Phillies fan?
You know, born and raised in Cheyenne. There were no Rockies back then, thank God. you know, they were my first Little League team. And back then, you know, Lenny Dykstra, Darren Dalton, John Kruk, Kurt Schilling, all those cats. So I've just been a Phillies fan ever since, and nobody can tell me I'm a bandwagon guy. I'm a fan of the only baseball team on planet Earth that has 10,000 losses.
Yeah, rough guy, man. Lenny Dykstra, John Kruk. I mean, you're a rough guy.
Lenny Dykstra is my favorite, man. He's my guy. I always will be.
All right. I'm a Cubs fan, by the way. I don't know if you knew that, but I'm one of those guys.
Nothing wrong with that. I saw the Phillies play at Wrigley. It was fantastic.
By the way, I went to Philly and watched the Cubs when I just got married, and we're walking down the street. We're by the Liberty Bell. My brother lived there, and so I knew what I was getting into. I'm wearing my Cubs jersey, just going to the game that night, and I'm getting yelled at by the FedEx driver. I'm getting yelled at by the FedEx driver. He wanted the Cubs out of town. I'm like, dude, we're the Cubs. Everybody loves the Cubs. All right, those are the Philly fans. Let's get to this. So you just are wrapping up spring football for the Pokes. They had to move their game. They're going to play it in Cheyenne. They got a wintry mix going on. So you're going to have this thing tomorrow in Laramie, and so a little bit different. But nonetheless, new coach, the D coordinator, Jay Sawville, takes over. He's the head coach. So the Pokes are doing this. I'm going to ask you a bigger picture thing. There's talk of the college football playoff meetings yesterday and today. There's actual talk from ADs and commissioners and stuff. Should the group of five, you know, these 64 teams that are group of five, should they have their own playoff? Should they kind of do their own thing? When you see that talk, what do you think?
You know, honestly, I've talked about that a lot on my own shows about, you know, for years now that, you know, I think that can be profitable. I think that's something they should look at, and I think they should have looked at a long time ago. However, you know, Nate, I just don't think you want to be left out of the big picture. I don't think you want to make it completely separate. You know, your top group of five team, at least for the next couple of years, has a chance to get in the college football playoff. I don't know if that'll be the case here in a few years, but for now, man, you want to get your best team in that. I don't think you want to completely separate it because, man, you don't want to drive that wedge, and then next thing you know, they're just two separate entities. And, you know, you love those games. Wyoming beat Texas Tech last year in the home opener. You know, you want that game, and those are big money games that a lot of programs really need, including Wyoming. I mean, you made a lot of money to go to play number 3 Texas Longhorns last year, you know, and those big teams want those games too. They want to, you know, I don't want to say cupcake because Wyoming certainly wasn't a cupcake when it came to Longhorns last year. But, you know, the SEC with, 2 weeks to go in the regular season, 3 weeks to go, they play a plethora of small schools. And, you know, a lot of these coaches got their start at these small schools. And a lot of these ADs and stuff, they want to help them out. That's their big payday. I mean, Portland State last year was open about it, man. They said, yeah, we're going to go to Oregon and lose by 70. And then we're going to go play in Laramie, Wyoming the next week. And you know what? That's going to fund our athletic department all year long.
So that's interesting. That's the scenario now, Cody. It's like, okay, the big boys are still going to win, but we can still be in this level, and we can make this work and share in the revenue. It looks like this puppy's going to change. They just did the new college football playoff thing. 58% of the revenue is going to go to the Big Ten and SEC now. 58%. Just to those two leagues. And so now I think some of these ADs are going in the group of five. Maybe we should just do our own thing before we just get left behind.
Yeah, and I don't think it'd be a bad deal, man. I mean, I think a lot of people, I'm sure where you are in South Dakota, a lot of people really pay a lot of attention to the FCS level.
Yes.
I don't per se, but I respect the heck out of them, and I respect their playoff system, and I love watching their playoff system. And I think, you know, ESPN, somebody like that's going to get behind that, and you're going to start getting some pretty good paydays too.
Okay, so you think it actually could work? Because I've had a buddy of mine say, he told me this 10 years ago. This was 10 years ago. He said, I've always thought the Wyomings should kind of be in a different level than the Texases, the Ohio States. Now, I always argued with him. I said, you're crazy, man. This is what you play for, being in the FBS. I went to games and watched my brother at Ohio State, at Georgia. I mean, you can't get any better than that. And he said, yeah, but it'd just be better to play in a league that you can actually win. and Wyoming hasn't been able to, win the FBS. Do you think that adds an element? If you go group of 5, we break off, now the Wyomings or the CSUs or the whoever's, they could actually be a national champ. You think that's interesting?
Yeah, I do. I mean, that's a great way to put it, too. But like you said about going to see your brother at Ohio State, those games as a fan, you never know. That's what the beauty of them. Not only are you getting a fat payday from going, I've been a fan in the stands watching Wyoming beat Ole Miss. I've been a fan in the stands watching Wyoming win in Knoxville and beat Tennessee.
Right.
You never know, and you're getting a fat payday, and it's national exposure. It's all kinds of stuff. So I hate to be completely separate, but no Wyoming fan goes into a season thinking this is our year to win a national title.
Right.
What you're hoping is you win the Mountain West Conference and you have a really special season to where you can crack in and be a party pooper. And then you go play a big boy that, and who knows? At that point, all the cards are on the table. Who knows? We've seen some smaller schools go. Utah was a perfect example when they were in the Mountain West. Boise State, they go in there and play with the big dogs, and sometimes those big dogs don't want to be there, and they get punched in the mouth.
Yeah, I'm with you on it. I still like the format now. You got to try and get one of those 12 playoff spots. The college football playoff's going to go to 12 next year. A group of 5 is going to get a spot. So you got to try and get there. Do you think ultimately, Cody, the writing's on the wall? If they're talking about it, to me, that feels like it's coming.
It does. But now you just wonder if it's going to be a full-on separation. I don't think the Alabamas of the world want to play a world beater every single week. And when do they get selfish and go, you know what? We don't really care about grades anymore, because let's not get it twisted. This isn't about grades and student athlete anymore. We don't need Vanderbilt. Why are we sharing with Vanderbilt? Why are we sharing with Northwestern and Rutgers and schools like that? They might get relegated right down to the group of 5, right along with the Wyomings of the world.
Yeah, good point. Somebody told me that. They're like, does Vanderbilt belong with Alabama? Yeah, probably not when you think about it.
No, they keep the grade point average up, and they have Nashville, which, let's be real, the Tennessee Volunteers have Nashville.
Yeah, no, I got that. 7220sports.com for the coverage of the Pokes. Spring football winding down tomorrow. New head coach Jay Sawville wanted to get his read on the group of 5 discussion. I think there will be more to come. Cody Tucker's on tonight. Cody, always good. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much, Nate. Appreciate you.
Appreciate your time. 7220sports.com to cover the Pokes. That's where it's at. 7220sports.com. Hey, thanks for listening tonight. That'll do it. Our Pizza Ranch Who's Hot category goes to the Rushmore Bowl. It's on the schedule. Who's Hot to the Rushmore Bowl. We had to make an adjustment because the state didn't have it scheduled. Rushmore Bowl, September 7th, Saturday. Brandon Valley and Stevens, Spearfish and Central. Rushmore Bowl is on the schedule. Big fundraiser for our schools, so I like that. In our Pizza Ranch Who's Not, it's easy. It's for my friend Matt Kearney. Tomorrow night, the Broncos will not draft Bo Nix. It could be the end of the beginning of the end. I don't want to say that. The beginning of the end for my fandom of the Broncos. If they take Bo Nix tomorrow, they will not. He is in the ultimate Who's Not category tonight. Brought to you by the Pizza Ranch. Enjoy your night at the Pizza Ranch Buffet. And we're back tomorrow on draft night. And it's happy hour with Rob Kegron. Download the Nate Brown Show podcast. It's going up right now.
One guy has 2 beautiful daughters. One guy went to college in a